Hello, Mr. Stone here, and today we are going to be talking about how to get a period from the frequency for sine waves. So let's familiarize ourselves here with this concept of hertz. Hertz is a measure of 1 cycle per second. A cycle per second is just a way of measuring one full period, basically, for a sine wave that occurs. In this case, if you have 1 hertz, which is abbreviated as a capital H and a little lowercase z, that stops you right there at the 1 second mark. I've completed 1 cycle, 1 full period, basically. Cycle is basically another way of saying a period. So hertz, though, are very infrequently used directly. Instead, we see things like kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz, and terahertz. A kilohertz is basically 1,000 hertz. In other words, it is 1,000 cycles per second. Similarly, a megahertz is 1 million cycles per second, or 1 million hertz. Gigahertz, I think you see where this is going right now. This is 1 billion hertz, and terahertz is 1 trillion cycles per second. And believe me, it gets even larger than this, but those are probably the most common. So what does this all mean in context of what we might be working with? Well, let's say we're posed with this question. What is the period of a sine wave with a frequency of 5 kilohertz? The 5 kilohertz here cues us in that I've got 5,000 cycles per second. So I've got 5,000 periods per second. So if I want to find out the length of one period, I basically got this length of time right here of 1 second. And I've got all these, you can tell this is really accurate here, right? All these sine waves going da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I've got all of them, 5,000 cycles. And they all occur in 1 second. So what is the length of one period? Well, this is quite simple. Take 1 divided by, because that's 1 second, divided by the number of cycles, 5,000 cycles, which we said are the same as basically periods. And that's it. You can leave it as a fraction. 1 over 5,000 is the period. And that's about it. You can practice this with the problem. Think about what is the period for 33 megahertz. I like that number. That number, 33 megahertz, was the speed of my very first computer, so it's near and dear to my heart. Practice that and try 66 megahertz as well. That was my next computer, and see what the cycle for those, what the period for those would be. We will talk about this more. Have a great day.